I represent Christian Aid. Christian Aid is an international organization working across the world with their headquarters based in UK. They have office in Nigeria that have started since 2003, and they are both doing humanitarian and development work. So as part of our developmental work, we have a fantastic project that been designed specifically to transform the poultry value chain in Nigeria. Not only that, it's carefully designed also to provide support for our teeming youth. So what's this program that I'm talking about? It's called Sustainable Entrepreneurship-Led Poultry Transformation Program. In quote or in brief, SETIP. This SETIP project is a 5-year project led by Christian Aid, fully funded by MasterCard Foundation, and it will run from 2025 to 2030, which is good 5 years. Now, it's happened across the country, but we are not working in all the 36 states in the country. We are only working as a pilot for the next 5 years in 6 major states. These states are Ogun State, Delta State, Kano State, Plateau State, Adamawa State, and FCT. If you look at this state, it's being carefully selected to represent at least one state from each geopolitical zone. Then you see Abuja as like a added state to it. So what do we want to do basically? It's very simple. It's to, like I said, is to transform the poultry value chain business. And because it's an enormous project, Christian Aid alone, which is the lead partner, cannot do it. So we have other 4 partners that are supporting us to make it 5 organizations that will be delivering this project. Apart from Christian Aid, Animal Care, which we all know that are even present here, they are one of our consortium partners. Also, we have Amo Farm. Amo Farm is still present here and is also one of our consortium partners. Then beyond these 2, we equally have Sahel Agricultural Consulting. They are part of the consortium. And lastly, there's an organization called Pulse Africa. For those of us that came from Upper North, you will be very familiar with them. They are based in Kaduna. They are equally also part of the project. So not to waste time, what do we want to do? It's a holistic approach that are cut across the whole poultry value chain. And we'll be implementing this project through training and capacity building, financial access, market linkage, support service, poultry policy, and partnership. So we put all these things together just to make sure that we don't just learn. We equally have to make our work and our business succeed. Now, for the poultry farmer that are seated there and beyond, what are the benefits of this project for you? We are looking at this project that by the end of 5 years of this project, we should be able to have more job, income, and opportunity for the youth and women in poultry. And let me not forget, let me state one thing categorically, that apart from the existing poultry farmer, we equally have the same program will equally be creating job for the youth. What do we mean by this? We are looking for youth, all those youth that they have job but that have interest in poultry farming business. We want to encourage them. We want to support them in everything that they can use to be succeed in poultry farming. We will provide it for them. All they just need to do for us is to do what? To just tell us that they have interest in poultry farming. So beyond that, at the end of this project, we equally want to beat our chest and say that we have created access to cheaper and more reliable input for poultry feed and chicken. You know, I've been here different presentations here talking about different aspects of project. Thank you. So beyond that too, we equally believe that the existing poultry farmer will be strong and better organized at the end of this project beyond where they are now, as well as improve their market access, the could buyer and beyond, even beyond the country. If you want to export, we will support you to expand your business to the extent that it will not be limited within the consumption of your area. So these are all these things that we'll put together that we'll be doing for the next 5 years. And to lastly, presently, across all the states that I mentioned, we already collect all the list of the poultry farmer in that state. Ogun State have presented their own, and with the information that I have, all other 6 states have submitted their existing poultry farmer name to us. And basically what we want to do is very simple, is to first validate all those the name that they submitted to us. And immediately we find them what we believe that really they are poultry farmer. Then we communicate the next term for them. That's where we are currently are now. I think I have to stop here. And for anybody that have any want to ask any question, today, tomorrow, I'll be sitting right where the animal care booth is. You can check me up there and ask your question. Thank you for listening.
Please, a round of applause for the representative of Christian Aid. Thank you so much for that. Please reach out to him. He will be at Animal Care's desk for further inquiries. Okay, so before the tax discussion, the following announcements, like I said, will as follows. In Ogun State here, under the Poultry Association of Nigeria, Ogun State, we have 6 zones, and throughout the year, we usually have almost all our zones hosting one event or the other to help our farmers to boost their production, to help their connectivity, to help their connection with all other farmers and producers and people in the value chain. For example, for those of us that may be aware, in the Otter zone, which is the Otter axis, we usually have the Otter Mega Rally, where you have the names in the industry also coming for that event for the days that the event holds. We usually also, in January specifically, this 2026, January 24th and 25th, we'll be having another edition of the Chicken and Egg Fiesta, hosted by the Remo zone of Panog, right? And that takes place in Shagam under the chairmanship of the life patron of the Akaribo of Remo land. And the one that is an introduction that is coming in freshly into the scene is the Poultry Nexus. The Poultry manage this crisis of, for example, DOC, high cost, feed, high cost, and many of the challenges that we have in the industry. So the Poultry Nexus is not going to be where we want to come and have people in the industry to start talking about their products or their services. It is where the farmers will be coming and will be sitting down with who and who in the industry value chain and discuss what it is. See, they cannot survive without the farmers, and the farmers too cannot survive without the people in the value chain of the industry. And this, I gave an example yesterday when we were discussing with Amo Farms, because a lot of these players in the industry are already showing interest for this event. Now, for example, Amos said they're already trying to up their production of the DOCs. But their fear again is that if they up this production, it can come to a time when they can now begin to oversupply and there will be less demand. But we as poultry farmers, in fact, they mentioned something specifically. They said they've noticed a pattern, especially even during this period. Almost all the farmers are booking at the same time. It looks to them like everybody book at the same time. But you know, they are birds, just like our own birds. They produce almost every day. So what they are saying in essence is that if we can come together and deliberate and say that we can space out how we can offtake what they produce annually, how we can use our numbers as farmers, how we can plan together with them, then we can make a difference in this industry. And that will be holding on the 28th of January in this same place in OOPL by next year by God's grace. So we are looking forward to that time where we'll come together to chart the way forward. Please mark your dates. The flyers are available and be distributed, and it's going to be a great time. With that, I would like to bring up Mr. Kuforiji to come and discuss with us the current Nigerian tax law, implication to Nigerian poultry farmers. Please, let's put our hands together for him very well. We can do better now. It takes a lot to bring him here. We can't pay him enough so we can appreciate him. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All right. Great farmers. Great farmers. No farmer. All right. I want to, first of all, appreciate all of us for taking the pain to wait this long to have this discussion that we're about to have together. Really, it is a very essential topic that we really need to look at together. And I appreciate us for waiting. My name again is Mr. Oludare Kuforiji. And I'm a trained accountant. I'm a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria for many years. And I've been in audit practice for quite some time. And so you should be very much set, because it's like the tax man is standing right in front of you. And let's be sure that all your accounts are in the right checks. So please, I hope we have all paid our tax for this year. And we're already preparing our checks for next year, because the tax man is here already. I hope I have some love in the house. Show me some love in the house, please. All right. So I'm a trained accountant, but by practice, I'm a poultry farmer. So, Ekuleo, I'm actually one of you. So please, let's have a very open heart, a very open mind, because we're actually in the same boat. My farm is in Ogun State here, precisely in Owode Egba here. And so this is more like my home. So you're all welcome to my town. I live in this town also. And so we are on the same side. We are on the same side. But the advantage is that being on this side with us, I've been on that other side of tax a bit. I was never a tax consultant, but at least I've dealt with tax consultants. I worked in the bank before, and I've been a financial controller, one of the leaders, one of their subsidiaries. And I've had to deal with the tax people directly. So I know the language. I know what they are saying, and I know the way we normally will respond to them. And so when this new Nigerian tax reform is being announced in June, to take effect in January, we can see a lot of skepticism, a lot of uncertainties. Just like natural for any human being, we are not easily embracing changes. But unfortunately, change is the only constant that happens in life. So we must be ready for it. And that's why I appreciate the management of MPS. Please let me give it up to all of them. The chairman of the MPS committee, the Southwest, the chairman of Southwest, they've done so well to add this to this year's program. It can come at a no better time than now. And so because of our time, let's jump to it. We're looking at Nigerian tax reforms, implications of Nigerian poultry farmers. How will it impact us? Objective of this session was to explain the new tax acts, the part which affects farmers, and also highlight practical implications for poultry operations. Also to provide a compliance checklist, action plan before 1st of January. That's one day that we are looking at, 1st of January 2026. And to also offer us tools and resources for ongoing tax readiness. One thing about taxation is this. It's constant that what we've seen most of our people do is that we try to look at our entity type. Do I stay a limited liability? Do I stay a sole proprietorship? Which one, where do we run to that we can, manage tax? Let me use that word, manage tax. Because what is common in Nigeria, we all know this, what is common is people don't want to pay tax. And there's a word for it, or a phrase for it in the tax world. They call it tax evasion. So how many of you know that tax evasion is a crime? Is it not a crime? It's a crime. And so there's a better way to manage tax. And in accounting, we call it tax avoidance or tax management. And so the importance of this session cannot be overemphasized. We need to know how to actually manage our tax in such a way that the burden will not be too heavy on us. But one thing is, it is good that we must pay tax. The main tax in review. Now what they've done is, they've tried to harmonize and change some nomenclatures on the tax regimes. And so we now have the Nigerian Tax Act 2025, which try to consolidate, just as up till now, I saw the list recently of the number of tax that we are subjected to pay at different times or at different points. They're up to about 50 or more lists of taxes in different forms, and having two logos, a logo for the federal revenue and a logo for their own firm, coming places to demand tax. So what they are saying now is that it's only NRC officials that will be empowered to demand and collect tax from us. Again, I think that's another laudable direction. And then I have a joint revenue board, again, name change. It used to be joint tax board that stands in as a mediator between the taxpayer, the revenue collectors, and the different arms of collecting agencies of government. So those are the new 5 laws that they brought up. So key changes that is relevant to farmers. Number one, and I'm sure this is what we are waiting to hear, small companies exemptions. Now, with what they have done, it's just coming up in January, and so there's still so much unclarity. But some of the provisions of that law has already been gazetted. And so those that has already been gazetted, they are not going to change. One of them is this: small companies are now going to be exempted from taxation. So, as against, amen somebody, as against what is being speculated, if I'm to ask in this all right now, how many of all our companies have yearly revenue that surpasses 100 million naira in revenue? Our sales figure, many of us I know, but how many of us? Is it up to 50% of us? If it's not to 50% of us, that means 50% of this population in this hall will not pay tax again. I like that spirit. That the spirit of the letter in the new law. So it's not left for implementation. But I'll get to that one. But really, that's intention. Because if your yearly revenue is not more than 100 million, or your total asset value is not more than 250 million, then you are not liable to pay tax under this new regime. So I think that's a good one, if they really can make it implementative. Now, the first one is for business owners like us, poultry farmers. Now, under personal income tax new standard, there's going to be anybody earning below 800,000 naira. That is chargeable profit or taxable income. Also, will not pay a corporate tax. And so let's look at it. For me, I pay my tax. I pay all my staffs, and I know the least paid. The least paid doesn't earn as high as, on the average, maybe like a little just below this in a year, they earn in my farm. Just a little below this. That means almost all my staff, except the senior ones, almost all of them will not pay tax again. As of today, once we calculate their pay slip, we deduct tax, and we remit it monthly. But with this new tax law from January 2026, all of them, most of them will no longer be, and some of us also that are still in employment, as long as we are not earning more than, let's say, 1.2 million. Because when you earn 1.2 million, there are some reliefs and allowances that will be deductible from your gross earnings to now check your taxable earnings. It's only the whatever rate they are using will be applied on the taxable figure. So this 800,000 is not actually your gross earnings. It is the taxable earnings that is 800,000 or below that is now going to be tax exempt. So I think, again, that's another good one, if we can say amen to that. VAT retained at 7.5 with clearer input VAT recovery rules. Okay, now we've had the debate on value-added tax, and they reviewed from, I think, 5% to 7.5 some, like a year or two ago. Now they are keeping that rate on VAT. But good thing is that most of the things we produce, they are not VATable. Am I correct? They are not VATable. But before now, we still suffer the incidence of VAT because some of our inputs have suffered tax at some point or the other. We can check. Maybe some of our vaccines, maybe some of the cages, maybe some of the, anything that we buy. I know most of the basic material, raw materials, may not suffer VAT, like maize or soya. But some of our, mostly those other inputs, suffer VAT. So what this new tax is now saying is that those inputs to us, on which when we are buying, the seller to us has charged VAT, we should just note the receipt and keep those receipts. If we can keep those receipts at some certain time of the year, we can use those numbers to reduce our tax payable. Because what we are producing is not VAT, prone. And we have suffered paid VAT in our input. So they're still saying that you can recover VAT from whatever tax you are computing at the end of the year. Again, I think that's another good thing coming with that tax law. Then there is the developmental levy of 4% that is just being introduced with exemption from small business. Again, most of us in this room will still not suffer this 4% developmental levy chargeable on accessible. Note, not on all profits, but the profit that have been assessed to tax. So in summary, small companies are exempted from tax. Personal income tax payers will not pay any tax also as long as their chargeable income is still within the 800,000 benchmark. VAT now has another input, which is a recovery VAT, that you can actually claim back some of the VATs that were paid on our input. And also for agri businesses, it is being proposed, I've not seen that one very well, but that there will still be some other incentive for those of us in the agri sector. Particularly, I know that for those new entrants coming to agri, within the first 5 years, our income will not be subjected to taxation. All right, so again, I've mentioned this as I was talking, that sole proprietorship versus company check. Which one is absolutely we need to do next? Now that we know all these things. If we check it very well, most of us in this hall, most of us are poultry farmers. But not all of us are limited liability company registered. So we now need to check which one is better. Do I remain a sole proprietorship? I have my business in my name. I open a bank account in my name. Should I just leave it like that? Or is it beneficial for me to now register a limited liability company? Which one is better? I've checked it very well. I've done some computation. I think it's a no-brainer. It pays for anybody that believes you are going to earn for yourself income above 800,000 in a year. Note, whether you are in business or you're a salary earner, you are supposed to do what is called a self-assessment. No, this is why they are going. I'm going to get to that later. So if your income, whether from salary earnings or from business that you do, is in excess of 800,000, I will recommend go register a limited liability company. Because it's only when you are a limited liability company that they will need to consider your total revenue, which must be in excess of 100 million in a year, before they start thinking of taxing you. But if you are on a sole proprietorship level and you are just open to payee, the moment your income exceeds 800,000, which is just a fragment of 100 million, then you are prone to taxation. And why are they doing that? I know the government knows that it's more convenient for them as a monitoring agent or as a regulator to monitor companies. And so, and they know that they are trying to redistribute wealth. With many things that has happened, they've taken out subsidy on fuel. They are now introducing another surcharge even on fuel still, which is not happening yet. They are now trying to find a way to redistribute that wealth that will reach the masses. That's what they are claiming to do, which we should find a way to hold them to. And so I would recommend that we consider limited liability company as long as we know that our activities is ramping up and we're going to be having up to $1 million and above in a year. So also we should compute gross turnover and also keep records of our fixed assets and watch the threshold. Before now, I've seen recently tax people, that's what they do. In fact, what they are doing now is not new. Or what they are announcing for January, they are not really going to be starting anything fresh. But you know, the current government, headed by the Ogatinobu that we know, they know how to activate tax mechanism. They know how to generate income for government. So what they're only doing is they are invoking existing laws and finding a way to make it pleasant to taxpayers. And the intention, like I listened to the chairman of the new tax regime, one Mr. Taiwo, forgot the other name. It pays government also to tax 1 million people with minimal taxes than to tax few people with heavy taxes. And what they are trying to do is make sure that the tax net, as they call it, captures more people in the net, but let them pay minimal amounts, such that it will not be too much burdensome on them, rather than just have a few like they have now, because there are very few now. If I'm to ask all of us in the hall, what figures have we paid in tax in the past 3, 4, 5 years? Even the big ones. All of us are trying to manage it. And so, but those managements, we may be caught. We'll get there very soon if we don't actually align now and take the right advantage of that is being provided to us. So, consider, okay, I've said it. Let's move on. Okay, I've talked about this also. So we should consider the things we buy, how many of them are prone to VAT. So we now need to start looking at our invoices. Before now, many of the inputs we buy, we don't even bother to ask for receipts. But now when they go for tax audit, what they check is your receipts. My company is already going through that now. We've had a tax audit like 3 weeks ago, and they are reviewing the numbers we gave them. And what I know they are after most is to prove your cost of goods sold, your expenses. You have to be able to back up your expenses going forward with documents. So beyond just waiting till the end of the year to get a small accountant to put up numbers for you and you use that to file, you should on your own start planning for tax by keeping adequate records of all your inputs and look out for particularly those that are already charging VAT. Start computing them. It will be a way to reduce your tax burden later in the year. But try to harmonize all of them. So, and there's no how you survive in business, even in not in business, in salary business, whatever, without having at least one of these numbers. Once you have one of those numbers, which you have to have, except you are going to keep your money, in the house. For you to open a bank account, you must have a BVN. Before you can have a BVN, maybe you must have a NIN, And so they are now been able to link all these databases and all these numbers. So the moment you have one of those numbers, they will link it to all the rest of them, and anything you do in any bank can be linked to you. And so you are expected to keep good records yourself, because those records that you not keep, they have it. At the click of a button, they will pull all your accounts together, and they will tell you, this year, you've made like 120 million, and you did not even file tax. That means you are subjected to a certain percentage of that 120 million. But if you do your assessment, whether as individual or as corporation, and you file tax, yes. So even though we are saying many of us are not going to be paying tax any longer with this law, we are still going to have to do what is. You have to do your yearly remittance. You have to file for tax. You have to prepare your books yearly and submit to the relevant authorities. It might be zero. When they complete it, you see the account, they put nil tax. So that's what they want to see. But if you do not do that, they will trouble you. And so the major thing is, let's start planning from today. They said January 1st, 2026. Note that, particularly for company income tax, it is assessed on preceding year basis. It then means that the year that they're going to tax on 1st January 2026 is this year. It's the year that starts from January 1st, 2025 till December 31st, 2025. So what we should be doing now, if you have not done it, go and download your bank statements. Let's get a reasonable, tax consultant, chartered accountant, audit firms. They are not expensive. Let's do what we have to do on our own also. Keep all those records. They will need those records now. Before now, somebody might just come to you within 10 minutes. They just, what do you want? How much do you want to pay in tax? All those, able to back them up with real and tangible evidences. So you should file returns even if it is exempted. That's the last thing I wrote there. Even though you know you're not going to pay tax, based on those, computations, you must still remit those returns to the relevant authorities. So action plan, asset, update accounting to capture VAT input taxes. I've said that also. Register with NI. It's good to, it's very important to do that. Then train your staff on how to manage invoicing. How to keep your own, how to invoice goods out also. So it can be easy for whoever you are calling, because your accounting must be real now. Before now, when auditors come, they will say subject to what the directors give us, we certified as this accounting, whatever, shows a true and fair view, subject to. But now they can't do subject to opinion too much any longer. It has to be real audits. You must say that from the record examine, the accounting, whatever, shows a true and fair view, and the computation of the tax. Because what they've said, I've listened to the director or the chairman of the board, is that they will even go after the consulting firms too. So if they just manage to cook books without putting substance behind it, they can go for them too. So we need to be very, very ready to do the right things. I think we are doing close home. So talked about it. These are the key numbers. 100 million yearly turnover, no tax, or 250 million fixed assets, no tax. That's for companies. 800,000 yearly chargeable income or less. Also pay no tax for personal income tax people. Then chargeable income is not, these numbers are not the chargeable income. 800,000 is is the chargeable income, not the gross income. So that has to be computed. Remember to keep record of your VAT when you buy stuff so that you can have some recovery from that. Remember to do a self-assessment by yourself. You may not be able to do it. Get the services of a tax consultant or an audit firm. Then also, there is the what's the new name again? I forgot now. The JIT, what's the new name they gave him now? Joint tax, JTB or whatever. I'll go back here now. There is Joint Revenue Board. They have some numbers. Unfortunately, I tried to get those numbers. I couldn't get it, but we'll get it in some of our communications very later. That you can call. They say you can call those numbers freely. You can even speak any language as long as it's any of the major languages in Nigeria. In case you see a taxman come to you and you've done the needful, they are trying to all the amens we've been saying. This is how those amens can be answered. We must have the information at our fingertips. Know that you've done the right thing, and that when they try to harass you, you have a number or a office that you can recourse to. With that, I think I've come to the end of my presentation. I thank you for your rapt attention. Maybe there'll be time for questions.
Thank you. You please clap more. We can't pay him. Clap more. Thank you very much, sir, for that presentation. So I don't know if I have witnesses in the house that Mr. Kuforiji should please give us these slides so that we can share to our members He has even said sure before I finish the request. Please, let's clap for him. Let's appreciate. Let's tell him thank you, sir, for that. They will be sharing it on the state platform with our zonal chairman, and they will share to our zones. Ma? And I said, that's why I said state platforms. Then they will share with the zones. The state, each states have platforms. Oh, okay. Emails. Well, I was about saying that means you should go and register with any of the Poultry Association of Nigeria. That's how you will get it. Because the Poultry Association of Nigeria is the one footing these bills. So if you are not a registered farmer with Poultry Association, please do so. We have more. We are going to be organizing lots of these seminars, lots of support for our members. So why don't you want to join the Poultry Association of Nigeria? We have booths out there. We have people out there. You have the states out there. I have people who have come all the way from Kano, Poultry Association members who have come all the way from Kano, from the Southwest Cross River. Please join the Poultry Association of Nigeria and enjoy these things that are freely being dished out to help us. Beyond just the lectures, beyond just telling us, beyond the slides that they are willing to share with us, we are going to be privileged to also give support to our members when the chips are down, when the tax officials are after. For example, let me give you an example of what happens in Ogun State. We have been able to come up in, for example, I know Mowe very well, with the local government, such that they used to bring heavy bills to the farms to pay annually. But you know what we did? We just walked up to them, negotiated with them, and we decided that there's a percentage that each farm should pay. And that's all. So any farm that is paying very huge sum is because he's on his own. Once you're under the association, we collect all that together and remit in bulk to the local government. Those are the advantages. So please join us, Poultry Association of Nigeria, any of your state, any of your zones, and I'm sure you will not regret it. Thank you so much once again, sir. Let's put our hands together for him one more time. I want to call up, but we have about, I think, like 2 presentations more. 2 or 3 presentations more before we close for the day. And the next one is Lebuc. Is it Lebuc or Lebuc? Please, I hope I am calling right. Please, let's put our hands together for him as he comes up to present. Oh, you're not ready? Yeah, you have very limited time. Please hurry up. You've got just 20 minutes.
Good afternoon. No farmer. No farmer. Great farmers. Thank you for the wonderful people of Nigeria for giving me an opportunity. Thank you. So I will be briefly talking about one of the most deadly and one of the most threatening issues of the current generation, right? So it's basically about antibiotics, which is one of the most threatening issues. So how to come out of the usage of antibiotics in the regular farming practices? About that, I'll be briefing in detail, right? Yeah. Thank you. So most of you will be aware about this image, right? So in the year 1900s or 1950s, the bird weight was around 900 grams after even 56 days, right? So in the present era, we are sitting in a place where we are finding almost near to 4 kg in 56 days or 20. At the age of 32 days, we reach almost near to 2 kg, right? Similar in the layer birds. So it was originally 100 eggs per year. So now we are almost touching 300 eggs per year, right? So along with this development, we have been seeing a lot of developments when it comes to antibiotic usage also, antibiotic developments also. So from the year 1900s to 2000 to the present era, there have been lot of developments in antibiotics. Of late, lot of antibiotics have becoming resistant, which is a threat not only to the poultry, but also to human beings. Okay? So both the things parallelly happen. So what is the reason for eggs in poultry? What is the major reason? So when you have more number of birds, when your birds are producing more number of eggs, the stress of the birds goes high, the pollution through the litter quality, all those things again goes high. So the stock densities goes high, the bird is highly under stress. When the bird is highly under stress, it is under threatening of lot of viral as well as bacterial infections, right? So that's the place where people started using lot of antibiotics in your farms. So how, actually speaking, why we need to use antibiotics in a regular way? There is no point in using in a regular way, but there are possibilities of using antibiotics for therapy, that is for treatment, to cure the diseases, to prevent mortality, all those kind of things in a regular way. Whereas you can use it on a metaphylaxis way also, where you start using the antibiotics when you are seeing some threat around your farms or seeing some infections in one of your flocks. Those cases, you are supposed to use antibiotics, but under the prescription of a practitioner, veterinary practitioner. But what's happening now? Yeah. So what's happening now? So now an era has come whereas people are not using antibiotics just for treatment, they are using antibiotics on a regular manner, just to prevent infections, just to improve their growth, just to keep the birds going and producing. So that's what's happening in the current era. But it is causing lot of harm. Knowingly or unknowingly, we are seeing those things happening across the globe. So what happens? If you are using it on a regular basis without any control, without any proper prescription, without any proper plan, the bird starts getting resistance. The microbes inside the bird start getting lot of resistance. So what happens? After few days, your antibiotics stop performing. Antibiotics stop functioning. So your antibiotics will not be of no use after few days of continuous usage. That's what's happening. So that is nothing but antimicrobial resistance, which is actually gaining in lot of pathogenic microbes across the globe. So it is not, I told you, it is not just affecting the birds, it's affecting the human population across the globe. Millions of people are dying every other day just because the antibiotics are great resistance. There is no, people are getting infected, antibiotics are being given as a treatment protocol, but absolutely no effect, absolutely no relief of infection, and people are dying, right? So this data shows across the globe, lot of people are dying. Many of the microorganisms in the farm like E. coli, Salmonella, Klebsiella, all are gaining lot of resistance to antibiotics, which is a big threat not only for poultry but also for the human race, right? You can see here, among the most resistant microorganism is E. coli. Next comes Salmonella. None of your antibiotics will be working in another few years. Everything will be go off wane, right? So what is the next approach. Of course, there are a lot of opportunities to remove antibiotics from your farm, to have a more sustainable approach, more long-lasting approach, and with the guarantee that the birds can perform, the animal can perform, the animals can be healthy, right? So, of course, management is one of the first priority when it comes to any kind of antibiotic usage or any kind of issues, AMR issues, or any kind of diseases. So there are a lot of management practices like biosecurity, environment, all those kind of things. I'll not go into the details of those kind of things. But across the world, if you see, many times the management also fails. Even management also is under a lot of issues due to human resources. So complete security cannot be obtained by just following the management. But now there are opportunities using lot of ingredients through which, even though if your management fails, your supplements can get into the picture and do lot of benefits to the bird, and you can literally remove antibiotics completely from your farm, right? So one of the major candidate for this is probiotics. One of the wonderful creature of nature, probiotics. I'll come to the detail later. You have phytomolecules. Across the globe, lot of phytomolecules are available which can perform, which can give wonderful performance, wonderful benefits. You have organic acids, you have enzymes, and you have pre and postbiotics. So these are some of the molecules by using which you can totally remove the antibiotic usage in the farm. You can get long-lasting benefit, not only in the health of the bird, but also in the performance criteria also, right? So you have to protect multiple segments of the bird or multiple organ systems of the bird. The first comes is the gut. So one of the wonderful candidate which I already told is probiotic. So probiotics, one of the most promising character. So you can use probiotics. So along with probiotic, you can use enzymes, postbiotics, all those components through which we can improve the health of the gut. So if you can improve the health of the gut, you can definitely reduce a lot of antibiotics. It can reduce, you can improve the performance of the bird, improve the health of the bird, and along with that, you can definitely improve your profitability of also, right? So this is about protecting the gut. So one of the major disease which is affecting the birds across the globe is influenza. Avian influenza. Millions of birds die every other day because of influenza. People are not able to control it through any kind of vaccination, any kind of treatment protocols, any kind of antibiotics. Here it comes herbal molecules. It can do wonders. We are every other day we see phytomolecules doing lot of wonders when it comes to respiratory issues. So you can use a lot of herbal molecules. You can use a lot of essential oils. You can use antioxidants to make your bird more potent, more effective against diseases, to have a better defense system in the bird. So that one more candidate is herbal molecules. Next comes, you have to build the bird's defense system, build the bird's immune system so that it can fight against diseases. Of course, you cannot avoid mortality, but can definitely reduce the number of mortality happening every other day. So you can use a lot of postbiotics, you can use immunity enhancing phytomolecules to increase the bird's immune and defense system. And you have, and as I told earlier, every other molecule which you are using here, like postbiotics, probiotics, enzymes, organic acids, trace minerals, phytomolecules, they just don't prevent infection. They definitely can give you performance appraisal. Definitely. The bird will show you better FCR, bird will show you better weight gain. This has been proved across the globe with numerous number of trials. So you can definitely use those kind of molecules and completely avoid the usage of antibiotics. Now a question arises. I have recently come across one of the data where people say inconsistent results when I use these kind of molecules. I'm not getting the right set of results. I'm not able to sometimes avoid antibiotics. I'm not getting the result. Why so? We'll just go through some of the reasons of that. should be very careful about the ingredients, about the additives, about the supplements which you use in your feed. Okay? End of the day, the variability in the ingredients, the variability in the composition, variability in the specifications of the ingredients are absolutely important. Substandard ingredients across the globe, any country you take, there are a lot of substandard ingredients, additives and supplements coming across the industry. People are buying it every other day just by seeing the economics. Don't see the economics, don't go for substandard ingredients, because that will definitely give you lot of problems, right? So again, when it comes to substandard ingredients, we have come across multiple adulteration. I come from India. Every other day we see lot of adulteration. Amino acid, 98% pure amino acid coming from a farmer having zero. Antibiotics supposed to have 10% concentration, having zero antibiotics. So adulteration is being one of the major issues across the globe. You should be very careful about adulteration. You should be very careful about toxic contaminants like heavy metals, all those kind of things, especially when you are using trace minerals, organic minerals, those kind of compounds. So you should be ready to understand the products or the ingredients which you are using to remove of antibiotics. You should have a very clear plan. You should have a very clear phases of usage, so that you can wonderfully do the job of antibiotic replacement, right? So you should be very careful about the usage of these kind of feed supplements. So there are a lot of ways. I will not go into detail of this. There are a lot of ways where you can definitely check every ingredient which you are using, every supplement which you are buying. You can use vendor evaluation. You can see physical visits. You can do vendor audits. You can test their supplements in third-party labs and make sure what you are using is for the right purpose and what you are getting is the right one, right? So you will see the global trend. More than 50% of the farmers across the globe, they have been able to successfully replace antibiotics from their farms. So this is the international data showing that more than 50% farmers are able to replace antibiotics with natural supplements, and they have been doing farming in a very profitable way by using these kind of molecules like probiotics, phytobiotics, enzymes, organic acid like kind of things, right? So there are immense possibilities to improve your performance and sustainably remove your antibiotics from your ingredients or supplements, right? So you see, this data shows the efficacy of some of the major molecules which I already have discussed. These major molecules like organic acids, phytogenics, enzymes, probiotics, these all molecules can definitely replace. So this is the data from the farmers where they have given the testimonial that by using these kind of ingredients, I have been successfully able to replace the antibiotics from my farm. So you should have a proper implementation plan, as I have previously told. You should assess your biosecurity. Of course, that is the primary thing. And many times when you are accessible security, biosecurity fails, you can definitely have some improvement with your feed supplements, natural molecules. So you should have a proper targeted feed additives based on the problems which you are facing in the farm. You should definitely evaluate your additives, as I told, through multiple possibilities. Yeah, thank you. Possibilities. So I represent Zeus Biotech, which is a 34-plus-year-old company. We are one of the leading manufacturers of biotechnology-based supplements in India, and we do manufacture probiotics, phytobiotics, those kind of compounds. We have been selling our products in 25 plus countries, and we are doing, even in Nigeria, we've been doing business for more than 10 years with some of the major integrators. So we have a wonderful research and analytical lab. Anytime we request our customers, our farmers to do a visit to our facility, understand what we are doing. Like any other supplement manufacturer, you should know, you should understand what you are buying, where you are buying, how you are buying, and audit them whether getting the manufacturing, really manufacturing, or they're just doing some formulations, all those kind of things. Be confident about those kind of things, asking them documents, all those kind of things. So thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Please, okay, please, if you have further questions or inquiries, you can meet up with them and they will help you with that. I want to bring up Confidence Pharmaceutical.
Great farmers. Great farmers, you're welcome to Confidence Pharmaceuticals. All I want to present about this afternoon are things that are available in Nigeria markets. As we stand this afternoon, after this presentation, you can visit a stand at 6-5 that are hint to vaccine diagnosis. And we have products for disinfections and hygiene that is being produced by these companies. We have infectious bursar disease. We have the inactivated oil vaccines. And it comes in IB, infectious bronchitis, ND, which is Lassa, EDS, egg syndrome, Rio, and Salmonella. And we have the autogenous genus vaccines, the ORT, the Pastorella vaccines, Salmonella vaccines, E. coli, and the Staph aureus vaccines. All these are useful in the breeder farms. Now, and the Salmonella vaccines. You know, all these vaccines are actually a product of the farm, as in they are produced from animal in a specific pathogen-free environment. And all these vaccines are actually from Italy. So, next slide, please. Yeah, we have the strains of the infectious bronchitis. We actually worked on the serovals of the strains of IB. For those people that are farmers, you know that we've been having a lot of challenges with the serotype of IB that is existing in Nigeria. And they were able to come out with these strains of infectious bronchitis that we have. Same with the Newcastle vaccines. And the joy of everything is like they actually broke down these vaccines to 100 doses, 500 doses, and 1,000 doses. So we actually consider the farmers that are having IB in multi, the IB 120, and the IB variant 2. Actually, this IB variant 2 is the one that is so common in Nigeria, and we're having a lot of strains that are actually mutating from this one that we have. So that is why we ask them to come to Nigeria, pick the strains that we have, so that they can come up with these wonderful vaccines they've given us. So we have the encephalomyelitis strains, we have the fowl pox, the infectious tenosynovitis, which is very common in breeders. So, and we have salmonellosis. And one thing that is so special about these salmonella vaccines that we have is like, it's actually a trivalent salmonella. Many a time in Nigeria, we have a bivalent salmonella. We have this salmonella actually involving the one that infects human being. Enteritidis is part of what is there. We have these 3 trivalent strains, and the enteritidis strain is the one that affects human being. So we actually, as we are taking care of the animals too, we are taking care of this infection of salmonella that can be transferred from chicken or from the egg to human being. And that is why the strain of enteritidis is actually included in the salmonella vaccines that they've brought to us. We have the egg drop syndrome, which is polynum NDIBEDS, which is a trivalent. This come in inactivated oil. One thing that is actually wonderful about this inactivated oil is, one, they come with adjuvants. And these adjuvants actually, at the site of injection, reduce irritations. So they did not actually cause damage to the skin of the animal that is actually affected. And at the site of the injection, the vaccines is released gradually to form an immunogenic protection on the animal, and it's not virulent. So it doesn't have a secondary infection after vaccination. And one thing that is special about the Lasotal as well is that this Lasotal doesn't cause egg drop after vaccination, neither does it cause vaccinal reactions in the animal that has been vaccinated. So these are the potentials that is packaged in all these vaccines that is made available by this company. And as I've said earlier, they came with a package that comes in 100 doses, 500 doses, and 1,000 doses. Yeah. I don't want to bother Ross so much about this. I've spoken about the immunogenic protection and the antigenic activities of these vaccines that is being presented. And as a result of this, there is no reactions after this injection has actually been given, these vaccines has been given to animals. And I've actually spoken about the adjuvants that is added into this vaccine that provide easy and painless penetration of this vaccine when it is being administered in the absence of a pronounced local reaction, which leads to rejection of the belt. So it doesn't give any secondary or whatsoever infection after vaccination. No post-vaccinal reactions from these vaccines after it's been given. The adjuvant can significantly activate the function of the macrophage. That is actually what we are trying to do, so that this vaccine can actually produce a secondary immune system to protect the animals against the infection, either a feed infection or the one that is coming from out. So it's at the point of injection, it's released slowly, and it forms a very wonderful protection, which is actually what works on the animal to give a top-notch result. So we have these strains that are available in Nigeria for Nigeria market now, the Polymoon IBD, which is IBD plus. We have for Gomboro fascination, we have Polymoon isolated from the indigenous strains that we have in Nigeria. We have the Polymoon Lasota. This Lasota can be given to layers, but it doesn't have a side effect, neither does it drop the production at the farm. And you have the Polymoon NDEDX and IB, which is the triple antigen that can be given. This Salmonella actually includes the Salmonella that infects the human being, which can actually be zoonotic, but this has been taken care of because it has an enteritidis as part of the trivalent, given intraocularly directly to the eyes of the ocular injection. I've told you there is no site reaction when these vaccinations is being administered that are made available in 100 doses, 500 doses, and in 1,000 doses in Nigeria market. So Polymoon IB, I told you what is special about the strain is like this strain is actually the strain that is isolated here in Nigeria, because so many of the vaccines that is made available in Nigeria against IB are not actually giving us the expected results. But this has been tested on the feed, and it has been proven to be good against the challenges we have in Nigeria market or in the feed of our protection against infectious bronchitis. So, finally, there is cross protection of the Salmonella that we produce, and even the E. coli that is having some other variants that is actually mutating presently on the feed. So, available in Nigeria now. So you can visit our booth 65 downstairs to get more information and the flyers of this. We still include the swine vaccines, and these are inactivated vaccines against Osticus disease, the CSF, and Erispeller diseases in swine. So we have parvovirus infections, inactivated oil vaccines as well, and the autogenous vaccines that is against Escherichia coli in swine animal. So all these vaccines are made available and they are in Nigeria market now. So, thank you and God bless you.
Please, a round of applause one more time for him. Thank you very much. Let's have priority poultry services. We need to have those presentations back to back now so that we can wrap it up. Please put your hands together for priority poultry services. Please encourage them.
Thank you very much, sir. Great farmer, no farmer. I am Adele Dixon Adeyinka by name, Head of Sales and Marketing, Poultry Services. In the Poultry Services, we sell poultry drugs and poultry equipment. And our booth is C9 and booth C10. Please, you can do well to check our booth after the presentation. All right, so we sell, like I mentioned earlier, we sell poultry drugs and poultry equipment. So I'm not taking much of our time. I just want to talk about two of our products, which is Larvicide and Mostox. So Larvicide is a product that prevents flies and maggots in our manure. So for those of us that have farms in residential areas, this is actually a very good product for us. And even for those of us, it might not necessarily be those of us in this residential area, places where our maggots are disturbing or where the odor is much. Once you apply Larvicide to the feed, I can tell you that there will not be odor again and there won't be maggots again. So, and we have testimonies of people that are using it in this country, around the country, in the north, in the east, in the west, and around. So it's a very, very effective product. It's in powder form, and what you just need to do is just to add to your feed. 250 grams goes to a ton of feed, and it's quite cost Yes, so it doesn't cost at all, because I'm sure most farmers are always particular about adding extra cost, because we know what is going on in this country now. So everybody is so particular about extra cost. So I can tell you for free that it is quite cost effective. It's in 250 gram and it's also in 25 kg. Also, most stocks, it's a toxin binder. It's a toxin binder. It comes in 25 gram. It comes in powder form and also comes in liquid form. You can add it to, you can give it, you can add it to your birds orally, and you can also mix it with feed. So what does Mustox does? So basically it binds toxin. There was a time that waste rather was quite rampant. Good solution. It binds mycotoxins in the bud. So once all these this maize produces toxins, you can be rest assured that once you use Mustox, it binds those toxins and there is no problem at all. So it traps mycotoxins in the gastrointestinal tract of your buds. And you cannot be, in fact, because most of our attendants, we don't know what they are doing on the farm. There are times that even where you kept your feed, water must have gotten there, mold must have built up, and you are not even aware. And they give them the feed like that. And there are sometimes that even mistakenly, water has gotten to your feed, and in one way or the other, mold must have grown. But you are rest assured that once you make use of Mustox, you are free from any mycotoxin. So it's a highly specialized formula with monoligosaccharides, organic acid, hydrated sodium, calcium, aluminum silicate, activated charcoal, and alba liver stimulant, and also has bacillus subtilis in it. Like I said earlier, it's available in 25 kg. It's available in 500 gram. That is a mistake, but it's available in 500 gram, and it's also available in 1 liter and 5 liter presentation. Please, you can do well to check our stand. We also have various products available, equipment, and various drugs. Other drugs include liver tonic, egg run for better egg performance. Aquaguard is a water sanitizer. It is for best of so that drinking water can be purified, to prevent salmonella and the likes. We have stress mate anti-stress. We have chick booster. These chick boosters, once you administer it to your broiler, their performance is always top notch. You can have increased weight in a short period of time. And when you have runs among your broiler birds, once you separate them and you give them chick booster, I can assure you 100% that those birds will pick up. God bless you. We'll be expecting you in our booth. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A round of applause. A round of applause. Thank you very much. Please, can we have Agro Precision come up for their presentation? Agro Precision. Please, let's put our hands together for them. Oh, Preciso. Sorry.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. Nuruddin Lawal. I'm the MD of Agro Preciso Limited. The company is based in Abuja, but we have operations in Ibadan, and then in Abuja and in Kogi State. So we are here exhibiting with one of our partner, very strong partner in France. They are the promoters of the popular Sasso breed bird. It's possible that some of us will have heard about the bird, and we are exhibiting with them in this exhibition. So the details of the presentation and what the birds look like are by the left-hand side. We have some of these birds. They are there for demonstration. You may want to see how they look like. I won't take our time. I will hand over to Mr. Wilfred. Mr. Wilfred is the sales manager here in Africa, representing Africa and beyond. So he will take us through the presentation, the details about the bird, and if we have any question, we are open, and we will also be at our booth to listen to you and attend to some further questions. Thank you very much, Mr. Wilfred.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Lawal. A very welcome, a very good afternoon. What is the next? Good afternoon to everybody. I'm really excited to be here today. And the last few days, I have been walking around, and I recognized quite a number of faces. So we have spoken to many people. Today, I want to take you briefly through this presentation and explain to you what the Sasso bird can do for Nigerian poultry farmers. So the title of my presentation is Empowering Nigeria's Poultry Farmers. And in order to empower somebody, you need the right tools and the right birds. So can I ask a question? Has anybody here in the room ever tried to use a knife as a screwdriver, or the other way around, a screwdriver as a knife? I see quite a number of hands. So in many cases, that doesn't work. If you are in an emergency situation, it can work. I've done it myself. You can use a knife as a screwdriver if you don't have a screwdriver. But generally speaking, it's not a good idea. So I think the reason I'm saying this is that we are looking at a specific bird for a specific purpose. And we must remember that. So we must use the right birds in the right, at the right time. So let's get this going. Sasso is a pioneer in traditional poultry. Sasso has been around for more than 40 years in many countries around the world. And a long time ago, they started developing this bird. Why Sasso for Nigeria? And I think there are a few reasons why Nigeria is a good fit for Sasso. Sasso, as I said, it is not just a chicken breed, it is a specific chicken for a specific market. And it can help distributors. When you look at the value chain, it will be of value for several actors in the value chain. And looking at distributors, they can actually run with it, and smallholder farmers in rural areas as well. So the Sasso is engineered by a company, as Dr. Lawal said earlier, in France, and it all started already 40 years ago. So there is a long history of development that has gone in this bird for many, many years with a lot of geneticists. And basically the summary of it is that it is a robust dual-purpose chicken that thrives in challenging environments. So just to know what we are talking about, I have this picture here for you. So you can see this is the Rainbow X, a multicolor line of Sasso chicken that is very popular in many countries in Africa. We have this in Uganda, in Tanzania, in Rwanda, in many, many countries in Africa. So I just want to run through a few headlines of what is very specific about this bird. Now, we all know, and I've heard this in other presentations today already, that performance is based on two factors. One is genetics and the other one is management. So these two things are crucial when you are in chicken farming. We all know this. Now, the genetics are being taken care of. They have very resilient genetics. And the bird proves to do very well under challenging environments. So I am talking about the commercial birds. I'm not talking about parent stock. Parent stock, we are talking on a different level. But when you talk the commercial birds, it is a very forgiving bird, which means that if you don't treat it exactly according to the book, it will not straight away die or create problems. It is a forgiving bird, and that has been engineered into the genetics of this bird. So it does very well in challenging environments. So that is point number one. Point number two, it has been for the African environment. And here I visited a farmer in Zimbabwe. He just had 5 of these birds in his backyard. Simply put like some mesh wire around it, a feeder, and part of the day he lets them out, and the rest of the day and at night they go into that hut there, but they don't require a lot more than this. So they thrive in an environment like this. So they are meant to be kept in semi-intensive production systems, which means, again, coming back to my starting question, you know, have you ever used a knife as a screwdriver? We must not. Thank you. We must not put this bird like with 10,000 in a big chicken house and then start to feed them expensive broiler feed, because I can be very straight and honest with you. The growth rate is slower than a broiler, because we all know that broilers are top performing birds when it comes to body weight, but a broiler requires high quality inputs, a good housing system, intensive management, a lot of conditions in order to perform well. I often compare a broiler with a Formula One car. You know, it's extremely fast, but it requires a nice road ahead of it, pure fuel, right conditions, then you can go fast and very far. The Sasso is more of a Land Cruiser. It goes a bit slower, but if there is a hole in the road or if there is a bridge washed away, no worries. You'll get through it, but you'll get a bit slower, but you'll get there. So I think that is how you can remember. Then coming back to the components of the feed, since this breed has been engineered as well to scavenge, it is a very aggressive scavenger. So if you put it in a backyard, it actually, you make the day of this chicken if you put it in a backyard, because it will start plowing the soil and it will find every single worm that is in your garden. So in no time, it's just phenomenal, the scavenge ability, which in turn means that it will find a lot of its input just for free if you have the backyard. So that reduces the input that is needed on feed. As this picture explains to you, you can see we all know like a professional or a conventional layer has a daily intake of about 130 grams a day. Now this bird with 30 grams and a lot of scavenging, it is very happy, and you can give it whatever small grains you have available, and anything left over from your kitchen as well. Or it's a multi-eater. It loves all sorts of different protein and stuff that it finds. So it's a big cost saver for you. Then a lot of people actually get into the Sasso because of the meat quality. We all remember when we grew up in the village, when we had these chicken that was running around. That is a completely different experience when you eat a chicken like that compared to a broiler. A broiler, you know, is convenient and it's nice and it has, you know, it has the taste of a chicken. But this is not just eating, this is a whole experience when you eat this type of meat. The texture, the flavor, the juiciness, everything is just premium on this, about this chicken. So in a lot of countries, this meat is actually sold as a premium meat, and people are fetching a higher price for it. And I'm sure in Nigeria it's the same, that this is like a premium chicken that fetches a higher price in the market. So again, this chicken is a tool to empower people. And I visit hundreds and hundreds of chicken farmers all over Africa. And the single comment that I'm always getting back is that they love the performance of this bird under rural conditions. And in many cases, people told me, they said, you know, before I was working with village chicken or cockerels or something that I could put my hands on, but actually, now that I look back, I think it was actually costing me money instead of giving me money. So it was more of a hobby. Thank you. It was more of a hobby than of a business. So I think when they moved to this breed, they actually started to make money. Right, so who is Sasso? Just quickly the history. Sasso started in the 1950s in France with a farmer that was a bit worried when he saw that all the mainstream companies were going broiler. He was afraid that he was losing the diversity and the specific traditional breeds that were available in France. So he started saving some of these traditional breeds and actually developed them into a breeder farm. And from there, it really took off and they went into the rest of the world. As you can see, in 2017, Hendrix Genetics, whom we all know from Isa Brown, this genetics company actually bought the Sasso Genetics, and we are now part of the bigger Hendrix Genetics group, which has got a worldwide presence in more than 80 countries, and we have 4 grandparent centers around the world from where we supply our parent stock all over the world. So because of being part of Hendrix Genetics, Sasso is benefiting from a lot of research and development. We have an updated breeding program. So I think our strong point really is the research and development that is going on in continuously improving this breed. So just quickly, if we look at the market, we have on the left-hand side, we have the conventional layers, and on the right-hand side, we have the conventional broilers. And Sasso is anything in between. It's like a dual purpose. It is like if you would use this same analogy that I was using, like a knife and a screwdriver. Sasso is not a knife and a screwdriver, but it is like a Leatherman. Do we know a Leatherman? A multi-tool, where you have a knife and a screwdriver together. And you can use it for different purposes. So just remember that. Right, this is the product range that we have. We have birds that can reach 2.2 kilos in 50 days, but also birds that take a longer time. And we must remember the birds that are growing faster are used for meat production. The birds that are growing slower, the females can be used for egg production, backyard egg production. And they're very good egg producers. Right. This is a little bit about the market preference. We've done some research in the past. You can see Ethiopia, Nigeria, and Tanzania. Purple is the preference for meat, and the green is the preference for eggs. So depending on your market, you can shift between one line or the other. We all have them available. So just in summary, it is good on productivity, adaptability, and consumer demand. And this is all based on a foundation of strong genetic research and development for a long time. So we started with the introduction that we are now partnering with Agro Preciso, and we have this local representative in Abuja. So please, if you are interested, contact us. We are available for support, and we really want to get this going into Nigeria. At the moment, we have birds in Nigeria. If you're interested in running a test, if you want to experience this breed and see how well it does, please get in touch with us. We will get you some chicks so that you can experiment, and we can take it from there. So I think this is a big step today for us. Thank you very much for all listening to my story, and I'm available to answer any questions later. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I hope we are not tired. I honestly hope we are not tired. Please don't be. We are rounding up soon. With a round of applause, can you join me to welcome CF Feed? CF Feed. We are not clapping. We are very tired, though. Don't be tired. We are rounding up. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Great farmers. So weak, right? Great farmers. And no farmer. I'm Aliu Timitokwe, Technical Manager for CF Feeds Nigerian Limited. So CF Feed, we're a poultry feed producing company. We are located at kilometer 65, Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, Ogere. And we are here to, So we are here to let you into a lot of the products we have here. And that's not my slide, please. Okay, now at CF Feed, we have a variety of products for your poultry birds. especially the two main strains the two main breeds we handle, the layer birds and the broiler birds. We have quite a number of range because all these birds, they have different nutritional needs per time. And while my slides come up, starting with the broiler birds, we have grouped the broiler feed into 3 phases. We have the pre-starter crumble, the starter pellets, and the finisher pellets. And we have code names for them. For the professional feed, we have them as 101 for the pre-starter pellets, 102 for the starter pellets, and 103 for the broiler finisher pellets. Now, for the broiler starter, okay. Thank you. Okay. Like I said, we have them in three phases, the broiler pre-starter crumble. And we expect that one, the 101, to be consumed for 14 days, the first 14 days of your birds. And the focus of the feed is to provide high survival rates, good uniformity, and make it easy to digest, because the digestive system of the chicks is very, very sensitive. Then we also lay a solid growth foundation, and we reduce early chick mortality. Now the focus of this is simply chick adaptation. Why? Because these chicks are coming from an environment that is strange to us. So they must adapt to survive quickly. Now, going further, the advantages of using our 101 pre-starter crumble is that it increases the survival rates, it's easily digestible, and promotes strong immunity for your birds. And the target for this is that cumulative feed intake for those first 14 days is 500 grams and will give you 450 grams of body weight. Now, moving to the 102, which is the broiler starter pellet, which will be taken from days 15 to 28. The focus of this is to promote good bone development, accelerate growth, and an excellent feed conversion ratio, and improve growth efficiency. Then one tactical thing is to shorten the slaughter cycle. If you can shorten the slaughter cycle, that means you can run more cycles in a production year and make more profit. Those are some of the advantages of this ration. And the focus of this stage is rapid growth period. That's the point of fast growth. And the advantages is that there is strong and solid bone development, rapid growth, and an excellent FCR. And the target for this stage is that cumulative feed intake is 1,500 grams, and the expected body weight at 28 days is 1,400 grams. Now to the broiler finisher pellets. We have programmed it from day 29 till you slaughter. And the advantages there are fast growth rate, low mortality, good body type, ensure slaughter weight is achieved quickly, and solid appearance, and it will improve your breeding income by having more cycles to run. And the focus is simply body building up and body shaping. Why? Because we must have more meat instead of fat at that stage. Now the advantages: rapid weight gain, low FCR, optimized body shape, and the target cumulative feed intake at this stage to get your 2 kg at that consumption. Now we also have the commercial line, in which we know them as 101C, 102C, and 103C. And same pattern as the professional. But the difference is, for the 101C, you use 14 days, 500 grams, 450 grams as the target of 1,400 grams. And for the 103C, which is the 29 days till market, we expect a feed intake of the layer lines. We call them CF feed layer rations 200 series. And we have them as pre-chick scrum. We also have the grower pellets, which is 203P. And we have the pre-layer mash. Why do we have the layer rations based like this? Because there are different nutritional needs for different stage and age development. For the first 6 weeks, the main goal should be self-immunity development. And from 7 to 16 weeks, we expect bone development and also muscle development. And from the need there, it's secreted from the bone marrows. And ovulation is from the 5% egg production to like 42 weeks. And we have fat deposit from 43 weeks to colon, and calcium absorption from 43 weeks to colon. Now, the advantages of the, because at this period, it will improve growth and development of the digestive system. Why? Because we are going to put in there easily digestible and absorbable nutrients. It's one thing for it to go through the mouth. It's able using intestinal health and development. And it will also promote good flock uniformity. Now, the next stage from the 9th week to the 15th week is the grower stage. Here, we need to promote good skeletal development and rapid muscle development. And mind you, the reproductive organs will start development at this stage. And we must maintain good intestinal health and development. And we must promote good livability and flock uniformity. So the consumption expected at this stage is 3,000 grams to give us a body weight of 1,260 grams. And advantages of the layer ration, which will be taken from the 16th week to 5% egg production. I'm sure we all know the meaning of 5% production. Once you have 5% of your birds laying, you need to switch because the need changes at that time. Now for the pre-layer mash, we must improve calcium absorption and storage. We must ensure that the bones develop well and encourage good development of the bone marrow because its work is going to start immediately. Then we must promote development of the ovaries and ensure that the reproductive system is well developed for the task of laying eggs. Now the feed intake from that 16 weeks to the 5% production, we expect each bird to take a minimum of 1,650 grams. And at the target weight at the end of 5 is of two functions, of age and of weight. They must work hand in hand. Now for our layer rations, we have them to meet your needs. We have them as the professional, which is the 205. We have the commercial, the 205C. We have the layer pellet, which is 205P. And we also have the economy, which is 205. And these 4 lines are to meet our farmers at each point of need. What are the advantages of the layer lines? Helps the bird to achieve laying peak early and maintain it for 8 to 10 months. It increases egg weight while birds achieve peak production. Because we look at 2 things. We must increase your number of eggs and we must increase the size of the eggs. So we have worked on this. Then it also maintains good quality eggshell and color, golden yellow yolk, which is firm and of good quality. And the FER, that's feed egg ratio, is 2.15 to 2.23. That means the number of eggs you get per kilo of feed you feed. These are things we have worked on. And the average weight total of eggs produced in one laying year should range between 19 kilos to 21 kilograms. And the expected feed intake for a year production cycle is 23 grams. That's 23 kg per bed. And the target weight at the end of that cycle should be 2 kg. Now we also have our products in concentrates because we are aware some farmers have access to raw materials. And we have the CF feed grower concentrate 30%, which is 2033. We have a mixing instruction for that. Your maize will be 450 kilograms to make a ton of feed. You give us wheat offal of 250 kilograms. And the concentrate, 12 bags, making 300 kilograms. A total of 1,000 kilograms. Okay, thank you. Now the CF feed layer concentrate, 30%, 2055. We also have the mixing instruction here, which is the maize, 500 kilograms, the wheat offal, 200 kilograms, and the concentrate, 300 kilograms. That's simply 12 bags, and a total of 1 ton. Now, why should I choose CF feed? We have expertise in poultry feed industry, from procurement, engineering, nutrition, sales, marketing, technical, and after-sales services. We have a carefully selected team and the use of recent technology and advanced science development in feed milling. We also have good knowledge of the science and engineering of poultry feed and poultry production, and we do use carefully selected raw materials. Our mission and goal is to create fortune for a greater future. And the reason I want you to stick with us is that we have a promise to keep to this mission and goal. And that assures you that you have a solid partner in business. And CF Feed is here to eliminate farmers' fears. What are the fears? Quality. We make that our number one watchword, our number one statement. And we also come with affordable prices that guarantees profitability in business. And we also assure you of good returns on investments. And we will provide guide and solid after-sales services. With CF Feed, our farmers are not alone. We are your solid partner in creating fortune. Thank you very much.
Thank you, CF Feed. Who is excited? We want to have the last product presentation for today. If you are excited, you can clap. You can clap very well. We save the best for the last. Please join me as I invite Premier Feed. You are not clapping. Don't be tired. Please, let's endeavor. We listen very well, so we'll not be tempted to bring more product presentations. Thank you.
Great farmers, like I used to say, you farmers, you are not our customer. I know many people will say, why? You are our partner. You know, I mean, customer you can sell and forget. But your partner in business, you will never want your partner to go down. Please, our slide. So we are Premier Feed Mill, subsidiary of Farming of Nigeria. Farming of Nigeria have several branches, and we belong to the agro group. Under that agro group, we still have fertilizer, we have cassava. I know some people, some of the farmers used to say, what if there is we don't have enough raw material? What will happen? Or they will say, maybe we are not planting maize. We do more than planting maize. But today, I want to introduce one of our most recent products, and that is Broiler Plus. You know, Broiler Premium. Some people, most of our farmers always ask for professional. But I want to say today, we nutritionists, let me go down. We have focus. Climate smart farming. Meaning that don't give more than what your bird needs. If you give more than what your bird needs, you are contributing problem to the environment. Even the animal itself, you are contributing much work for that bird to do, or animal to do. So, we do precision formulation, which means what your bird needs to attain a particular weight at a particular time. And in this my presentation, I'm not going to only talk on this is what I want to sell, this is what I want to sell, but what can still put us in the business. So this feed that we call premium broiler feed is designed for excellent performance, profit, and precision feeding. There is different from, say, I want to raise, or I want to go into business. And at the end of the day, are you getting enough business? I mean, are you getting enough profit? Like I used to describe to farmers, demonstration. If you go for cheaper feed, your profit will be like this. And if you go for most expensive feed, because we have to tell you the truth, it's what we study, and we have to enlighten farmer. If you go for expensive feed, your profit is going to be like this. Unless you are what? You are an integrator. You see, what we are practicing this day is what? Is agribusiness, not agriculture. So if you want to raise broiler, is that your broiler going to, do you have power on the final product? But an integrator have that power. Is the one that will hatch, is the one that will provide feed, is the one that will raise the bed, is the one that will process, and at the end of the day, is the one that will sell. So, we farmers, that we don't have control on this value chain, we have to shine our what? Our eye and see how we're going to. So, if you go for top feed products, I'm going to show you the graph later. You see, the graph is in between. I mean, the profit is as big as this. But if it's going for cheaper feed, it's like this. Going for most expensive feed, it's like this. So it's better you have a profit is as big as this. So, and the nutrient digestibility, you see, in nutrition, there's something we call apparent digestibility. If you want to know whether your bird consume this feed and utilize it. And we go beyond that, because apparent nutrient digestibility is going to, it will not tell you that there are some nutrients that are loose, that you waste your energy, that you use your money to buy, that are already outside. The protein you use your money to buy are already outside. So I'm saying all this so that you will know that we don't just design feed, but we have gone towards an higher level. We call it standardized total tract digestibility. The apparent digestibility only look for what is in and what is out, not knowing that there are some endogenous laws. But when you look at the standardized total tract digestibility, that is when you know the actual nutrient that are wasted, and use that also to design the better feed. All this we put into our design so that the farmer can get better results. So when you start this our feed, in the first week, at the end of the day, we expect you to have an average of 2,000 grams or 2 kg or 2.2. Now, this is not magic. These are just what? Figures. So don't let people deceive you with what? With figures. Your destiny is your hand, is on your hand. Some people will say, what is the FCR? Now, you have this FCR here. I can even put 0.6 there. But how did you manage your feed? You get to some farm, you see feed on the floor, and you are calculating FCR. So from our trial, we are able to get 2.32 to 35 days. So, and birds, they move, they grow in phases. The phase 1, which is the starter phase, some people don't know that the early growth is very, very important, because that is when the organ that will help what? That will help even the immunity, development, organ that will help the digestion. That is when all these organs grow. But if you don't give better care at this level, what it means is that the organ will not grow, and when you now want them to resist disease, there will be a problem. Now that comes into the brooding system. Many of us I was in a place yesterday. I was talking about digitalization of your farm. That is, you know the pH of the water, you know the temperature, you know the ammonia level of your broiler, of the pen. That can affect the performance of the bird. But at the end of the day, one man said they use ant like this. If you use ant like that, you may not be a profitable farmer. So I now want to let you know, broiler rearing, you see, it's not just magic. I used to tell farmers, we are not selling magic magic feed. Broiler rearing is just like Formula One race. We are at start like that, you don't wait for anything. At the end of the day, because broilers are fast-growing animals that need constant care. If you don't care for them, there is going to be problem. There's no room for mistake. And when something goes wrong, you have to be you have to take caution immediately, or else it is very, very expensive. So you can see that even the breeder, some people don't know that Toyota can run so kilometer per hour. You want Toyota now to run like what? Like Mercedes. Or another brand of car that can run faster. So most of these breeder, they have target. For example, this is Cobb. I'm going to show you other breeds and how they perform. Now let me tell you, the brooding that I mentioned the other time, if the temperature is not adequate, if you are the type of farmer that use ants to check your at all. Then I mentioned the other time, if you have different breed, they have different design. Like if you have 42 gram to start with in a Cobb and in Aboeka, at the end of the day you meet up with your 2 kg. But let me tell you, if you mistakenly get something like 38 for Aboeka, it's not miracle. The design said their own design. If you get it, maybe by permutation. But if it's Cobb, it's starting. Now, many of us will go to the hatchery to book our bed. At the end of the day, when we are booking, you will not check. I was discussing with one of the hatchery people this morning. I said, can somebody buy a car of 20 million? And dealer now say, John, please get a towing vehicle, take this car to his house for him to test. He said no. Same thing, farmer that spend almost 5 million or 2 million to buy the old chicks, and you fail to check the quality of your bed. And at the end of the day, you are now blaming that is the feed that is not performing. If you are unfortunate that you get average of 32 grams or 35 grams, don't expect to get with Ross. You will see at the end of your 5 weeks. You can see at the end of your 5 weeks. You cannot compare with somebody that gets Aboeka of 42 grams that will get what? 2 kg at 5 weeks. So, for the performance, all this, the earth, the quality of the feed, the water supply, vaccination are very, very essential. Then there is another new branded feed that we designed for, let me say, smart